Hello everyone and welcome to episode 10 of our little series. Let's just get started. So, where were we last time? Okay, move around, pick up stuff, map is destroyed. Let's fix that. So, first of all, what I want to do, I'd like to make sure that our distribution function and map generation actually generates elements and doesn't generate characters. Additionally, there's a problem here in so that you can have an empty distribution, and I'd like not to have to deal with that. So let's maybe start by making sure that distribution cannot be empty, and we're going to use that using the non-empty. Non-empty. Yeah, good. Sort first. Okay, kaboom. In map generator, that makes sense because that's where this thing is used. So what we're gonna do right here, right? We're not gonna create an empty list ever because our distribution is never gonna be empty. But let's leave this for now because this massive thing here, it's gonna need a lot of changing, and I'm not really sure. I actually think there's a bug here. Yeah, there's a bug. I don't know why I keep using this comment style. This is the bug. I'll show you immediately, right? When you're building a continuous distribution function out of a probability distribution, obviously all probabilities have to add to 1. These don't, and they're not necessarily required to. But when you're creating a continuous distribution function, they do have to. Here, as you can see, I'm adding a value to accumulator and then just using this value as I move on. And obviously, as I get to the higher entries in the list, this is going to start adding above 1, which means that the elements that are later in the list have a first, depending on what the value is, they have lower chance of appearing than I actually specified, and second, they might not appear at all. So let's fix that first. Add entry. That's a solid name. Find. Okay. Parameters out. Second, let's make sure we don't repeat ourselves. Well, maybe not calling it X because it's already in a scope. Why? Why did not I take the red pill or the blue pill? Whatever. Cleaner, still a bug. So the way we're gonna make an adjustment, we're gonna take all the first values from our UPDF because we don't care about the elements right now, we just care about this. And then over these values, we are going to fold with 1 because we know it's not an empty list, and we're gonna add them all together. That makes sense, right? Yes. And then down here, so this won't be in scope. So we need to pass it in. Just so this has to be multiplied by this adjustment, which is going to make it smaller and scale it so that it fits in a range from 0 to 1. Unless I'm introducing more bugs again, but let's hope not. And the last thing, I like where clauses, because you can write a type and it looks nicer than adding type. We're taking a float. Seriously? Come on. We're taking an accumulator, that's a float, and we're taking a list of tuples that are floats and some element. We're taking a tuple that's a float and an element, and I can't use like a generic type. I actually have to write it this way because I am working with floats inside here. And what we're going to produce out is going to be this type. That's fine, yeah? Okay. Oops, it's not fold one, it's fold left one. Ah, could be right one, doesn't matter. Okay. And then somewhere here, the thing is complaining that okay, that's a different piece of code. Right here, right. So the second thing I want to do, I think that this is fine, but you know what? Let's just stick with it. We're going to make the code work back, and then we're going to continue fixing, because what I want to change is right now we're generating characters. I don't want to generate characters. I want to move all of these lists. I want to make them into sets. I want to move them into the main, and I want to make sure that the test distribution generates elements. And this thing, rather than taking a function that converts a character into an element, it's just going to take a distribution that works with elements, right? But before we do that, let's fix it. So unwrap our PDF and then find an index, and this probably doesn't work because it wants a list. We don't have a list, so port prelude hide this operator, but then please are we gonna have let me see. I have an easier solution. Let's not bother with that. We're gonna, well, we should bother with that, but I want to make it work first. We're just gonna convert our PDF to list to begin with. To list. Okay, and that's fine, right? Our test distribution now doesn't take a list, it has to take a non-empty, and the way we accomplish this is like that. So basically you have to have an element that you then append to the list. Not super clean, but who cares? That's ugly too. I don't know how to format this so that it looks nice. Maybe like that. In my opinion, correctness should always trump prettiness. Okay, where is that? Map generator. We're not using uniform distribution, so let's not care about it. Well, this works. Not broken, and it still seems alright. We can pick up things. Okay. The next step. Let's make sure we're not generating charts. So we're going to move all of this stuff out because it doesn't really belong in here. Right here where we set up our palette. We want set as a set to set. No, it's from list. Yeah, of course. It's set of characters from list. All right. And then our distribution is going to generate tile versus drawable, right? And it seems to me that these first few are all grass. So actually, when I think about it, this can't be a set. It's because we want to remember indices, right? And if it's a set, unless it's an ordered set. Yeah, that was stupid. And don't get me wrong, this is hard-coded information, but it's all values. So I'm taking knowledge I have right now, I'm putting it into a layer that's completely invisible to the compiler. What we should do, ideally, is encode this as types, so that when I compile, the compiler can check that I'm never going to create a tile that's indexing a missing element here. And the reason I'm saying this, because what I want to do here, I want to make sure that each one of these tiles is carrying an index into one of these lists of visuals, which doesn't remove and break the connection between presentation and data, but that's for later. So we want to create a grass tile, and I think we're building drawables right here, right? So we can pass a palette and a char, and we're going to get a tile. So let's use this for now. Tile from character. We're going to need a palette. P. No. And granted, this seems very roundabouty and should be fixed, but all in its due time. Let's build. Yes, map generator test distribution. Right. So I could go and fix this by passing a palette into generate, but it just by doing this, it proves that the original idea is senseless. What we want, instead of passing a function here, we want to pass in a PDF, and this PDF can be of any element. There. Pick character, not from PDFjar, but from whatever, and when you pick it up, you are going to get an element. And finding an index, so we know that that is impossible to find, because our PDF is always going to have at least one element, right? So in that scenario, any number we get between 0 and 1 is going to point at least at that one element, and ideally we would remove this. The thing is, that's going to change the output here, and that's going to make a mess in here, and I don't want to change that right now, so we're going to add a to-do. Change output type into non-empty. And for now, for here, if we hit, well, we're never going to do that, but to satisfy the compiler, we need to return an empty element. So that's what we're going to do, empty element. And we're going to pass this in here, right in the distribution. Right. Kaboom. Yeah, what's wrong? 33, 28. Right, sorry, sure. No? Okay. What are we doing here? To list. Let me find it. And then we get the second. Yes. That's exactly what I want. And in case it's pure, and then find an index, and if the index is found, get me an element, or return me an empty element. What am I doing wrong? Okay, this is a problem. Empty element is defined up here, right? And its type is an A from up here. The thing is, A here and A here mean different things. So that's what the compiler is saying, you know, the type A doesn't match type A1 because empty element inside here is type A1. And there's two ways you can go about it. I'm going to show you both. One, super simple, just pass the element as a value. So empty element, and then right here, a character on it, empty element. Uh, 20 watts. Yeah, we don't need this. What is GD? Ah, traversal, okay. I can just use that, I think. Type constructor. Okay. Oh, this is in main. My bad. I thought it's right here. Yeah, so I want you to see that this compiles fine. This is the simple way. You can go fancy. So you include scoped type variables. And this, aside doing this, you have to specify for all. So for all A, and now by doing this, this A is going to be the same A I see. Basically, you brought the type into scope. Well, sorry, you have to specify all of the free type variables, right? Hey, what? This doesn't work. Right, I don't need this type constraint anymore because the type n is the same as well, right? But doesn't create the same thing. Okay, forget about this. Let's leave it the way it was. I don't want to go down that route. We need to import PDF here. Or, interesting, let's just do it like that. Generate. That's because your MG, is there another generator around? I guess it is, but okay. This would be nice that it wasn't so. 61. Right there, we need this operator, so no empty, no empty, and that's a constructor. Okay. Tile from character. That's, we don't need this function here anymore. What we need is a test distribution with a palette. Do we need palette anywhere else? We don't. Excellent. So what we're going to do, we're going to move this here because, as I said, avoid introducing identifiers if you can. Also, it's great if, while avoiding to introduce identifiers, you can avoid crashing the code. This didn't have left side ideas. Oh, that's right. Right, we need an empty elements too. So let's switch the sides here. PDF over A. And then our empty element is going to be, let's create it up here. We're doing the tiles, right? So we're going to have an unknown tile. It's a bit silly. And the fact that I had to introduce an unknown tile just shows me that there's an error in my data model that I need to fix. I need to pass a value to it, and I do that here. So I named it a wall. Okay, you know what? Let's continue with what I was doing, but I have to remove that. I mean, if I'm going to write code that's crashing, then I might as well go and use Java. Just kidding. well, let's do this. Yeah, tile from character. New keyboard. It's finding all of this for nothing. I could probably still get it, but whatever. Okay, where's the issue now? That's fine. Oh, let's see attribute. Oh, okay, so we can't order. See how it keeps popping that you have errors in the data model. Okay, let's fix that. I really wish that this runs, but obviously this has to go. We can't be carrying our presentation in our tiles. So let's crush many more things. Yes, we're not a functor anymore. That's all right. We do want to create a drawable from tile and curses drawable. Yeah. Our doors opened, our doors not opened. So, interesting enough, this does make sense because you want to pass in data, you want to get out something you want to render. This, however, does not. This is a relic of Tilemap generating characters that we then convert into tiles. Now we're generating tiles, so we want to push this back. But we have more characters than we're drawing than we have data. So we need to translate, we need to create more values, right? Let me just see something. Yeah, so floor is never used because we have grass, so wall can safely get rid of. The second thing, see, I have a wall, but I don't know which one of these characters I need, right? So I'm gonna need like wall northeast, wall northwest, blah blah. I don't feel like polluting this main type with it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure to have, let's say, direction, data direction. So north, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, and northwest. Doors are always the same, and then grass, rocks, and flowers. They're gonna be peaking, as I say, from here. So not great, but possible for the beginning, which is gonna carry this index with them. Why is it not great? Because I can write code somewhere that says grass 99, and this is hard-coded, this is hard-coded, and yet you run it and it crashes. That should not happen. And this is why if I would encode this into type, then compiler could verify for me that I can't do that. So right here we have wall direction, and then for each one of these directions we're going to be passing in a different wall. Okay, so no, these are all connections which we don't use, so let's do this is east and west wall, east and west, oops, and we're going to have to carry the attributes with it. Yeah, I should have done one. And then now we grab north and south wall, that's this thing. So let's just copy this here, and then this south, north. Okay, so we need northeast, that's northwest, my bad. No, yeah, it's northwest. Sorry. Northeast is, where are you? Northeast. Southeast. And southwest. Great. Walls gone. We can do connectors later. We can do the internal walls later. I don't care for that now. Doors. These are closed doors. These are open doors. Yeah. Grass. So we can do this way, right? Grass is going to have an index. Sorry. So whichever index, we always want grass to be green, and we should probably put that up in a set, but for now let's just leave it attributes here. So we're going to get grass tiles and get this. So we get a tile but not the color, and that's alright. We're going to do the same with the rock. So rock tiles and an index and the flowers. Whew. Flower tiles and this wall. Bye bye. We do need this because we can pass in wrong values, right, of these flowers, so it's not a problem. If this happens, error, tiles carrying wrong ix. Yeah. Now, what am I saying? This can't happen. It's gonna crash here. We are processing all the tiles. Okay. Oh, I have direction input already. Do I? Even better. Probably should not be in the input anymore, but somewhere. North. East. East. So beautifully aligned. Yeah, direction should not be in the input anymore because it's not used by the input anymore. It's not used just by the input anymore. So that's something to get solved later on. But for now, I'm very happy that I've gotten rid. Okay. Sure. Keyword. Why not? Let's fix all these things. 61, 61. Yes, it's not courses drawable, it's just a tile. We don't even have this anymore. So the tile here is grass with index 0, grass with index 1, and grass with index 2. This is rock with index 0. This is a flower with index 0, and this is a flower with index 1. Yeah, where is that? 87. Okay. Funny, for some reason I thought that this should work without me having to enclose this in braces, but whatever. Anymore, and here, because we don't have a D parameter anymore, Tilemap, Tilemap is type of D, right? Yeah, we do have a, here, it's type of tile, and entities, and this is gonna bite us in the butt. All right. Let's see how far can we push this and until it gets done. What's the problem? Did I not save? I did save. Right, so B doesn't equal D because the tile is just a tile, it doesn't carry a subtype. Although we do keep the tile, we just specialize the tile because there's a type that the tile map is carrying. But B now has to be equal to cursor drawable, and you know what? Let's just give up this nonsense I was showing you I was showing you last time. Let's just make sure we introduce it everywhere where we actually use it. And then we don't need any of these constraints. There. Yeah, just a tile map of a tile. There's a drawable from tile. Done. This is wrong now, right? We want grass of type 0. Could be random, right? We could just add like a random monad in here, but let's just replace it with this. 170. Yeah, there's nothing here. This is the direction. And this is our collision detection. Yeah. Map generate not tile from character. Yes, this is our default failure tile, and our default failure tile, it's gonna be grass with 0. Data draw tile. I did not add this here, and I'm ashamed that I didn't, but let's do it. So it takes a tuple of integer and a tile, and it produces, oh, this is increases, okay. I think this is UI, it's C. We don't need this anymore. We do. Different tile. Index creating. That's what we need. That's what we don't need. Case of T is drawable from tile. Do we need to pass a palette here? But oh, wow, the city is running long. I'm gonna hurry up, hopefully, to finish it soon. IX, yes. This is the second index, so drawable from tile, P tile. This looks exactly the same. So, and if the tile doesn't exist, but it's never gonna create that, so we just need this. This we can get away with. We need palette. And this is again a remnant because entities are now the ones that are carrying drawables. But you know what, we'll live with that. Create items from map, pass P. We should have palette somewhere here, come on. Oh, it's up there. was useless. Initial game. Initial game is going to take P. P. Thank you. Yes, I know that you can't, but you're not even supposed to. They're all the same, I know. We still need a palette here. That's fine. It kind of makes sense that you want a palette here to pull. Probably all of these are going to want to have a palette with them. No, because the other things are all... The other things are all carrying the data in the model. This is fun. No, it's not. What's the problem? Okay, let's try from the first variable not in scope. Draw tile with P, please. Yes. Oh, that's right here. Doesn't need. So what's the issue? It does have this thing in scope. I should probably remember to read their messages actually. Done. Well, blue flowers are now red, and I think that the reason why is because I copy pasted thing here, right? Did I? Flowers, no, see, it's like okay, that's easy to fix. So if flower is 0 and if flower is 1, this is red and this is blue. Ta-da! You could probably do the same thing here, like do dim lights. And we did something similar, did we? 2. And rock is always going to be this. And see now, we're going to need a catch-all. If I could only remember which one was dim, which one wasn't. guess I'm gonna make dimmer the ones that take less space. There you go. So, situation like this, for example, I kind of feel that we should probably space these flowers in a better way, but it's not bad. It is what it is, right? Okay, that's it. Let's remove the trailers. By trailers, I mean trailing lines. And there. That's it for now. I know this was long. Next time, I don't know what I'm gonna do next time. I made a plan, but I'll read it and follow it and I'm done. See ya.